Doop, doop, doop theme song. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Nick 101. I am your host, as always, Nick, and I'm going to try and keep it short just because I've been having issues with uploading videos that are anything longer than about 10 minutes. I'm hoping to figure out what's going on with that, but since it's been a bit, just, quick couple updates. Not much to update, unfortunately. I've mostly been trying to get ready for the winter, stacking wood, getting, stuff covered or tied down, or any of those stuff, just in expectation of the cold weather coming in. In fact, that was one of the things I was thinking about doing. Is while it's the last couple of nice days out, that I might actually just go ahead and record this while going on a walk. And unfortunately, that is not going to be the case because it is super cold out. I don't know if you hear Lilu in the background, but she's upset that Daddy's doing his quick podcast instead of paying attention to her. But anyway, so yeah, it's just a little bit too brisk. The wind is blowing really bad, so between the crunching sounds of my feet on the gravel and the wind blowing, it probably wouldn't have been really great audio. A little distracting, so I decided to keep it indoors this time. Maybe, hopefully, we get a warm day coming up, and I can try doing that instead. Because I don't know if you've ever seen Kevin Nealon's podcast, but it was kind of a cool idea. Like while there's supposed to be you know um, COVID regulations, but we were pretty sure that it died instantly, out in the sun. So he would just do an outdoors, hiking, walking podcast with some various guests, and you get used to the crunching of the steps after a while, and you just kind of pay attention to the dialogue. So I didn't think that it would be too bad, but yeah, unfortunately, that's how the weather's being right now. So yeah, trying to get wood ready for the winter, so that we don't get screwed over too much on the oil prices, and try and run the wood stove as much as we can. And that's Lilu again. Well, it's been a while since she's made an audible appearance, or banged on the table while trying to play with the toy or something. So if I had thought of it before, Chris Stefano, I probably would have called it something like the Chaos Podcast, because I had absolutely no control over the quality or the content, at first, and had no idea where it was going. So yeah, it's Lilu the Loud is making an appearance. So yeah, so the I think the biggest thing that happened was, speaking of her, that we have a vacation coming up, because we like to try and visit my grandpa once a year, when we can. And so last time we actually drove out and brought her with us. This time we really wanted to bring her again, because grandpa really seemed to love having her around, always saying, "Hi doggy, who's sweet doggy." But in this case, we just decided to leave her at her kennel. And she gets along really well with the particular kennel that we take her to. It's one of the only ones like that's actually kind of on the way to work. And I swear, just with the date coming up, they get this big rash of kennel cough. Which, if you're not familiar with pets, I don't mean to sound indelicate, but it really is the COVID of dog stuff. So for the most part, you should be okay. It really hits, like older or, unhealthy dogs more. Some dogs could not even have symptoms, but still be contagious. It takes about 2 to 14 gestation period, 2 to 14 days gestation period. So a lot of similarities. And just before we go on vacation, they shut down because they want to prevent the spread. So they went down, closed down for a, quarantine slash, cleanup. And we were really, really worried that we weren't going to be able to use them and try and scramble and find somebody last minute. But thankfully, they did assure us that they're going to be reopening before we do go. So crisis averted there. But yeah, I mean, it did make us realize that you really should always have a backup, and even a third option. If you have an animal that might need to have some get taken care of. So. Thankfully we don't have to worry about that. We can always deal with it when we get back from vacation. But yeah, that was a worrisome moment. So thankfully she'll be taken care of. Technically, her bath is coming up soon, but we decided to just skip it and wait till afterwards, because she's probably going to be gross from with dog spit from playing with a bunch of dogs for a full week. But Yeah, like I said, they know her, she knows them, so I doubt that she's going to miss us very much. There will be the big, huge, happy reunion when we come back, of course, but I think that it's been long enough. So, I mean, I'm sure I've mentioned on previous podcasts, but she was a stray, and then shelter, shelter, and then us. So, you know, I think that, there's a little bit there where she was not sure that we were going to be her forever home, but I mean, that was years ago. We've always come back, so I'm pretty sure that she is not going to freak out when, a couple days go by and we're not, coming back together. I'm sure she's going to forget all about it and she's just going to play with the dogs until, suddenly one day here we are to pick her up and then she'll be like, oh yeah, hey, what's up? Hey, sweet. Okay, but I can still come back to daycare, right? Because it's definitely her favorite place away from home. Might even like it better than home just because she does get to do all that playtime. There's it just stinks because there's never enough dog parks in a given area, and even if there were, there's never a lifeguard on duty, and unfortunately, it seems like there really ought to be because I don't know a single dog park that I've ever gone to that doesn't have at least one pet parent that can't or won't control their dog and lets them be the one that kind of ruins it for all the rest of the dogs and dog owners. So I really would like to socialize her more than we do. But besides pet stores and outdoor venues and places that she is welcome, dog parks always have a high risk of being problematic, and it's unfortunate. I wish that wasn't the case, and it'd be great if we could figure out something to do about it. But yeah, unfortunately, there's always going to be that one. It seems, and yeah. So obviously, winter's coming, and we'll see what kind of a winter it is as the weather keeps getting more and more erratic. I'm worried that it's going to do, which is pretty typical of New England weather, but I'm worried that it's going to be like blizzard, and then after a week the snow all melts and makes everything muddy and runny, and then blizzard and muddy and ruddy. I'm planning on parking one of my vehicles off of the driveway, and I am just worried that it's going to get super stuck because of what I'm worried the weather's going to end up doing. I don't know, what kind of forecast there is for it coming up, but quite often that's what New England weather will do. It'll be completely unpredictable. You'll have a whole bunch of false starts to the winter, and then a whole bunch of false starts to the spring, and it can either be dry as a bone, or we can have it be so wet that the ponds and lakes and rivers all rise to a threatening height, and scary into washing out roads and stuff, which did happen this year. We definitely got enough rainfalls that some of the roads that I frequent had an entire one half of the road just go right off into the off the side, and yeah, so we'll see how this winter goes. Um, I'm hoping it's not too warm of a one. I mean, because ticks just keep seeming to get worse every year, and apparently the warmer the winter, the worse the ticks are the next. So I wouldn't mind some snow as long as it sticks around. So like it snows, we shovel, we plow it, and we don't need any more for a while. We can just have some snow on the ground so everything looks nice and white and pretty, but we don't have to worry about shovel it and then deal with like the muddy runoff and then another blizzard and then shovel that. It's like I can't believe how tall the piles of snow got last winter, and then all of a sudden they were gone, and then all of a sudden yet another pile. So that means we got like a lot of blizzards with a lot of warm weather in between. But anyway, you know that's what happens when you live in an area that has the seasons. We always talk about how we might want to if we can afford it one day be the snowbirds that go in the desert during the winter time, and then New England during the summertime, and ideally by that point get an electric vehicle and just do the drive back and forth so that we're not doing too much impact on the environment by trying to be snowbirds. But that's how you can also use like the least amount of heat and or AC when you do something like that. So I don't know. It doesn't seem like it'd be too bad of a thing, but again, that's something where the way that things are these days is like just being able to have one household between two people, and still think that you might have enough extra income to bring a kid into the world is pretty rare. You really have to have a pretty decent job, and even then, you still want to try and make more meals than you buy. Don't go out to eat and try and, like do your own, which honestly, now that we've learned to toss pizzas and stuff, it actually is kind of fun cooking again. But trying to figure out a game plan for the whole week, especially if you're busy the whole weekend doing stuff. um, you know uh, right, first world problems, right? All right, so anyway, like I said, I'm going to try and keep it short in the hopes that I'll actually be able to upload this. And yeah, just checking in. Like, I know that I was having upload issues, so I wasn't really putting out content like I originally would like to, so I apologize for that. I'm working on it, and that's why this one's just going to be a nice, quick, and easy one, and I'm already over the 10-minute mark. So I appreciate you, and see you next time.